Well, hi. If you already didn't know, my name is Marie, and welcome to my Cat Chat podcast. I've been wanting to make a podcast for a very long time. I actually had an idea um, of making this podcast with another person, but um, fortunately, that person's not part of my life anymore, and there were some creative differences that I just wasn't into. So here I am. Now, I don't really know exactly where I'm going with this podcast. I've already filmed. I had already filmed some of the episode, but I lost all of the videos, unfortunately. So here we are again. But I'll try to be less all over the place because I can easily do that. Well, first and foremost, let me. I am obsessed with yerba mates at the moment, and I like trying different brands. I've never tried this brand before, but let's give it a shot. I am not a fan of sugar-free anything. Sugar-free has that little artificial sweetener taste, and I just don't like. It's not my favorite, but we're not gonna let this go to waste. So, cheers. I don't really know where I want to go with this podcast. I just know that I want to turn the camera on and just kind of talk, whether it's by myself and maybe I'll have some friends over. I don't know. I don't know where it's going, but this is the first episode, so welcome and thank you for watching. Um, Mainly today, I just wanted to touch on who I am and some things that I've struggled with. For example, I struggle with an OCD disorder. It's called trichotillomania, and it's a hair pulling disorder. I mainly pull from the top of my head, and so I have these little flyaways. If you happen to see them, that's why they're there. And I just want to connect with people that also are experiencing the same shit that I am, and just to connect, and because I've never met another person that has the same disorder that I do, and I've I've come across a couple of videos like on TikTok or YouTube, and it's really intriguing to watch someone else experience what I do, or have watch someone else explain what they feel and their satisfaction and all the things that comes with this disorder. And it's just, I don't know, it makes me feel like I'm not alone. So here I am. Hopefully I can make someone feel the same. I didn't realize it was an OCD. I diagnosed myself because I woke up one day thinking this is really weird. It's been happening since high school. I am 32 now, so it's been a while. I self-diagnosed about maybe 6, 7 years ago, maybe about there, and I figured out a name for this thing that I was constantly doing, and how I wanted to overcome it. And doing research, I've came across a couple of people's stories and how therapy was very helpful, and all of the things that I have to do to try to control it. It's really hard. It's an addiction. So here I was ready to seek help to try to maintain the issue, try to minimize it, try to stop. And I seek therapy. I started doing therapy about at the beginning of the year. I would say it's when I started my healing journey, and I'm still healing. But this podcast is part of my process. It's another reason why I chose to just record. Um, yeah, my healing journey started at the beginning of the year. My main targets were my hair pulling, and pretty much it. Like everyone has problems, whether it's family, whether it's financial, whatever. I feel like a lot of people go through things throughout their life, and we go through these things not realizing that we are just surviving them, and not realizing that they're there because we're so used to living with them. And something I found out through therapy was that I had other underlying issues that would then have to come out and be figured out and be worked through. So that's what happened to me. I opened one door and that shit opened many doors. So yeah, all the doors that opened. I knew they were there. I knew these issues were there. I grew up with them and I struggle with them and they're there, but it's just something normal, they become normal. You learn how to deal through them. Uh, but yeah, there were issues. I didn't realize that I actually was dealing with depression. Um, I feel like it's because of that. It's not easy to distinguish whether it's depression you're feeling, whether it's just a moment of sadness, a bad day. But because we're so used to feeling these ways, and they're normalized, and we don't realize that it's okay to seek help, to help minimize the feelings and not feel like that. But yeah, I amongst seeking therapy for my hair pulling disorder, I uncovered a lot of other boxes that were just in the back, just there hiding. And I I noticed that some things just started changing for me. For example, the biggest one that I can think of at the moment is friendships. Um, without shedding too much light on a specific issue with friendships, I'm just going to speak from my experience and what I was experiencing personally. So, yeah, uh, I was going through this healing process, and amongst this healing process, I began to uncover a lot of feelings that were coming up to light, and I like trying to figure out the words to simplify these things because I can just ramble. Before I began therapy, I had a group of friends, and we would go out a lot, and there was always a little bit of drama in the friendship, um, with everybody, and it was just like I don't know if it's even normal, but that was the normal for us. and we would always go out, drink, everything, have a good time. Sometimes there was bad times, and after New Year's, I that's when I initially started my therapy, and I started to feel different things. And essentially, I feel like I took a step back, just looking at the bigger picture. I took a step back from a lot of things that made me feel content, or made, at whatever, whether it was going out and drinking with these people, because it was something that was normal. We tend to stick to familiar when things are not going the way that we would like for them to, right? Um, I realized that I began to kind of distance myself. I was still talking to these people like on social media and stuff. I was still keeping contact with them, but in terms of physically putting myself in the same room with them, I just didn't feel like I wanted to anymore. And it doesn't necessarily mean because of the things that we would do. Like, no, like I was still going out and drinking. Like, that's the thing that was wild to me, because I I feel like I just really enjoyed my time with my boyfriend, with my partner. That's all I wanted to do, was just spend time, and that's the only person that I wanted to go out and have a drink with, honestly. And I can honestly say that because it's something that I think about a lot. Like, I chose to just hang out with my boyfriend and nobody else. Um, I never really stopped to think about, like, if it was a bad feeling, to or it was like a little like a little nudge, like, hey, watch who you're hanging out with. They're not going to be so great later on, you know? But it just felt organic. And at the moment, I was just like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I acknowledge that. And this is what I'm going to do. And I was just kind of, riding the wave. And again, I am still going out, I'm drinking, I'm having a good time, and I'm doing all of this shit with my partner. And I just was not interested in hanging out with these people. Like, I just didn't want to. It just wasn't appealing to me as it was once before. And I never tried to fully dissect it or try to, you know, question it. I just knew that something was changing, and I just let it happen, right? Because it was positive. It was something good was happening to me. I'll just leave it at that, you know. But of course, people don't like to see people win, so there's always some negativity that's going to be intertwined. Um, so yeah, I for a couple of months, that's what I was focusing on, just myself, and listening to what I wanted to do and who I wanted to do it with and who I didn't want to be around with. And little by little, I feel like people's true colors just kind of started pouring out. That's also how I just took another step back, because I'm like, oh, okay, something's happening. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's happening, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm a little too busy working on myself. Mind you, I had just started dental assisting school also. So I was just like looking for change. Um, I I don't know. It's really hard to explain but it was just happening and I was accepting it, and it was positive. Like that's all that it felt good. It felt like it was something good for me. And I just kind of let it happen, and I'm just kind of rambling. I'm rambling. I'm just trying to find the words to express how I felt in that setting without blurting out too much information and just sounding like I'm talking shit about people, because I'm not. I'm just explaining my side of my story. I fast forward, I'm in my healing process, and I'm noticing these things, and I am honoring myself and my wants. And I'm working on myself, and I am also trying to acknowledge that I have friends that I once was very close to on a daily basis, and they were still there, and I didn't want to make anyone feel like I was ignoring them or anything. So here I was still talking to them on social media every day. Um, so I'm trying to people please. I'm trying to understand what's going on with me. I'm trying to understand these feelings that are changing about what I want to do, who I want to do it with. It's just a lot of shit that I was experiencing, and I was not talking to anyone about it because I was talking to my therapist about it. But these are just things that I was that were brand new to me, and I was experiencing them for the first time, and I I allowed to experience them. I allowed myself to experience them. So during this entire process of just not feeling the need to go out to certain things and hang out with certain people began to act a certain way. I don't know what happened. I was told that it was because I wasn't going out with them, and but that seems very childish. So I like there was rumors that were going around about me that someone from the friend group had said that never happened, and I was just confused because no one had like came to me and tell me like, hey, someone is saying this and that about you. So you know what, I was just like, there's a really big elephant in the room, and I just need to step back. Like there's a reason why when I started healing there was a shift where it was like, you're not this is not your table anymore. um so it all just kind of made sense. It all just kind of made sense. But then at the same time, it didn't, because there's still a lot of questions that I have. But the way that I see it now, it's like, do they matter? Like, is that something that you want to fight for? Is that something that was bringing you something so great, something so beneficial to your life? I know it did once at some point, right? But it wasn't a beneficial friendship anymore. And I think I held on to the fact that some of these people were in my life for years, like 10 plus years. And um but that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long you've known a person for. If you guys are just not eating from the same bowl anymore, then it's okay to go find a different bowl. And it wasn't an easy transition either. I kind of like questioned a lot of me and myself. Like, oh my God, like, I don't have any friends. Like, I know how I feel. I know that being in this setting is not making me feel what I used to feel. And but like, who am I gonna hang out with? Like, I started going through another down another hill of questions. I started spiraling down towards a different dark hole, and I was just questioning myself and my choices, and was I making the right decision? Did I do the right thing? Did I apologize enough? Am I supposed to apologize? What am I apologizing for? All of the questions, they were there. I have a group of people that I admire. I have a handful of women that I admire for different things, whether it being one of them that I can think of. She's single and she travels so much, and it looks like she eats so much good food and she enjoys her life. And I admire that about her. And I can hit her up today and we can go and grab brunch later in the week. Like, I have friends, there's another couple that they're married and they've been married for a long time, and they do a bunch of shit. Like, they they're so sporty and they just bounce off of each other really nicely, and I admire that about them. And I've known these people for a while now too, and I can hit them up and hang out with them. Like, I do have friends, and it made me spiral and like question, like, do I even have friends? Do people like me? Like, this person said that about me, and like, it made me question myself. But it was just like a full circle moment for me. I mean, I think it's fair to say that in order to make room for the things that are good for us, there are things that have to go. And it doesn't matter who it is, it doesn't matter how long they've been there. If they're not serving you anything beneficial, if you're feeling any type of way from them, if they're not even being the bare minimum friend, like, it's okay to gut that shit out. I still have moments where I have to stop and, like, check all the boxes, and like, no, I'm good. Like, do I miss? No, no, no. I think I sometimes I come across certain things and I get triggered. So, like, that's how you know that that's just it just wasn't for you anymore. It just wasn't for me anymore in this next chapter of life, that you involves a lot of healing, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. You know, I do have friends. Um, there's nothing wrong with healing and growing out of certain toxic situations. Whoever it is, a family member, a friend, however long they've been in your life, if it doesn't serve you anymore, just make peace with the times that they did serve purpose, because I'm sure those relationships, they do serve purpose at one point. Like, I appreciate that and I make peace with it, and I am done. I'm not gonna say it, but I I definitely will say that I do not by any means feel like I'm missing out on anything, and I it's just a full circle. For some reason, things are taken away, or things are really, like, magnified. That's just like one thing. Have I stopped pulling my hair? No. And that's like the reason why I wanted to get therapy, was help with my hair pulling, and now I am still pulling. So I am still on this journey. So yeah, if you stayed to the end of this video, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I don't know what the next one's going to be about. Maybe I'll touch more on this healing process. Anyways, thank you for listening. If you made it to the end of the video, leave me a heart. And I hope you guys like my little microphone. I bought these little mics on TikTok shop, and I just attached it to my Labubu. And yeah, he's my microphone now. Or she, whatever it is. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys see me next time.